Okay, now we have another example of word problems. So we are going to let x equal location 1 and y equal location 2. So we have location 1 and location 2, and we have drapes, we have deluxe, standard, better, and I need to erase these, switch these two, or I will mess them up. Better and standard. And then we have our cost. Okay. Deluxe, standard, cost. All right. Now, and then we have our total. All right. So for our deluxe, and this is X and this is Y. So we have 10, 20, 13, and 600. 20, 50, 6, and 800. 3,000, 6,300, and 1,800. So we want to minimize our cost. Our cost equal to 600x plus 800y, subject to the system 10x plus 20y is less than or equal to 3,000. 20x plus 50y is less than or equal to 6,300. 13x plus 6y is less than or equal to 1,800. And we have x is greater than or equal to 0, and we have y is greater than or equal to 0. For this line, we have that 0. So if we let x be 0, then we have 3,000 divided by 20, and we get 150. And if we let y be 0, then we get 300 is x. For this one, we have 0, and we have 6,300 divided by 50, and that gives us 126. And we get 6,300 divided by 20 gives us 315, 0. For this one, we have 1,800 divided by 6 gives us 0,300. And we have 1,800 divided by 13, which gives us 1,800 divided by 13 is our y-intercept, and that's about 138.4. All right. Sorry. Now, what I'm going to do, I knew I'd do this. Each of these are not less than or equal to. These are all greater than or equal to. I knew I'd do that. Because it says that if we look at this, sentence. It says the company has orders for 3,000, 6,300, and 1,800. So that's the minimum that they have to make. They could make more than that, but that's the minimum they have to make. All right. So now let's look at the graph. So if I test these, all right, so I want 0, 0, right? So for each of these, for the test, 0 is not going to be in this region, it's not going to be in this region, and it's not going to be in this region. So my test region for all of this is going to be out away from 0, 0. So I'm going to look at the graph. So here's X, here's Y. Oh my gosh, my numbers are so huge. How do I graph it? You don't worry about it, right? You know that this is my smallest value and this is my largest value. This is my smallest x and this is my largest x. So my smallest goes to my largest and my largest goes to my smallest and my middle goes to my middle. So it's going to look something like that. Okay, so this line right here is my largest value goes to my smallest. So this is going to be 13x plus 6y equals 1800. This value right here is 0, 300. And this value right here is going to be 1800 over 13, comma 0. My middle value is going to be 0, 150. And my middle value over here is the 315, 0. My maximum value is 300, 0, and my smallest value is 0, 126. And this line right here is 20x plus 50y equals 6,300. So I need to find this point, and I need to find this point, and this line right here, so this middle piece right here is, so I've already done that one, I've already done this one, is going to be the 10x plus 20y equals 3,000. Okay? So now what I need to do is I need to find where, so I need to find where 13x plus 6y equals 1800 and 10x plus 20y equals 3,000. I need to find where those two intersect, and I need to find where, and that point is, this is 90, 105, and I need to find where 10x plus 20y equals 3,000 and 20x plus 50y equals 6,300. And that point is 240, 30. And this all goes this way. So the region I'm looking at is this region out here. Okay? And I'm going to leave this algebra for you to do. All right, we've done it. We did it back at the beginning. You could do it with matrices. You could do it with, which would actually be a really good way to refresh your matrices for solving for your final. I'll do it in the written up notes, but I'm going to leave it for you to do. Those are the values that you find. I'm just not going to spend time in the video doing it. All right. This video is not about solving for the points. This video is about testing for the corner points. All right. So now you find your corner, after you found your corner points, okay, then you put it into your function. And this time we want to find a minimum because we're finding the cost. All right, so we're testing the points 0, 300. That's 1. We're testing 90, 105. We're testing 240, 30. And we're testing 300, 0. Okay? And when we put these in, what we get is this is 240, and we're putting them into this function. We get 894,000. We get 384,000. 3 times 240 plus 800 times 30. And that is not right. Did not think that looked right. And I got 168,000. That's better. And then we get 189. And I have these backwards. So this should be 300, 0, and this should be 315, 0. And so this should be 315, 0. And so my minimum is here. All right, so what that tells me is that the minimum cost is 189,000 when I have 315 drapes that are made at location 1 and no drapes are made at location 2. Okay? So, now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to work the next example in this video. All right? Because it's going to be a little quicker example. So this one is, we're building inkjet printers, and so we want to assemble them, and we want the labor. And so we're doing printers. So we have inkjet, and we have laser. And then we have our total. Okay. And so it cost 1 for the jet, 1 hour, and 3, and our total is 120. And the labor is 1, 1, and 70. Now, it never tells you the labor. So if you read this, it never tells you the labor. And what you have to assume is that it's 1 and 1, that it's the same amount of time for each one. So then what you do is, I said X is the inkjet and Y is the laser. Now, when I've taught these classes before, everybody's like, well, how do you know which is which? How do you know whether you're doing X is inkjet and Y is laser, or how do you know that it's not assemble and labor? The way that you can tell is if you look right here, if you read your sentence to come up with your profit equation, if you read the sentence, it says the profits are $50 for the inkjet and $60 for the laser. That sentence tells you where your X and your Y are going to be. So that means that we want to maximize our profit equal to 50X plus 60Y. Subject to 1x plus 3y less than or equal to 120, and x plus y is less than or equal to 70. And so again, to solve the intersection for this system, and we know that x is greater than or equal to 0 and y is greater than or equal to 0. So to solve the intersection, I can do it one of 3 ways. I can either do substitution, I can do elimination, or I can do matrices. Now, I don't care which of the 3 ways you do, but you need to find the intersection point for the 2 lines. You also need to be able to find that if x is 0, then y is 40. If y is 0, then I have 120x. I have 0, 70, and 70, 0. Those are just 4 points that are real easy so that you can draw a quick sketch of the line. So given that information, I can say I have the line. And so the question is, how do I find that point? If I know that this is 70, 0, and this is 120, 0, and this is 0, 70, and this is 0, 40, then, and so that makes this line be x plus y equals 70, and this line be 1x plus 3y equals 120. So how do I find that point? Well, real easily. Just going to go in here and I'm going to do this second matrix. Clear. Second matrix, edit, A. And this is going to be a 2 by 2, not 2 by 2, 2 by 3. Okay, it's going to be 1, 3, 120, 1, 1, 70. This one. Okay, second quit. Go back into matrix, math. I want to do RF, second matrix, A, close parentheses, So it's the point, oh, wrong thing. So what I did was I set it up as a matrix. So I did 1, 1, 3, 120, 1, 170. Then I did RF, and I came up with 1, 1, 0, 1, and I had 45, what was it? 25. So that means that this point is the point 45, 25. All right, so I have used now within the videos for all of these things, I've used everything but graphing. Or at some point, I have used everything but graphing. All right, so now I need to show, so if I test, right, then I have, don't need to do that. So for here, I know that, yes, it's 0, yes, it's 0. So that means I'm looking at this region right here. So my corner points and my curve $60y over, so I'm looking at 0, 40. I'm looking at 45, 25. I'm looking at 70, 0, and I'm looking at 0, 0. So that answer is going to be 0. That answer is going to be 3500. That answer is going to be 2400. Those I just did in my head real quick. So then I go to my calculator and I do 45 times 50 plus 25 times 60, and that answer is 3750. So this is my max. Now remember what I said is I said that I can gear it up where my max is not that point. All right? So what this means is the maximum profit is $3,750 when 45 inkjet printers are made and 25 laser printers are made. All right? So in the last example, realize that, now I'm going to scroll up for a second, realize that in the last example, the min came out to be this point. All right? Not one of these two points. Okay? So you need to realize that I don't have to make one of these 2 points that you found be your max or your min. Okay? So please email me or post on the board if you have any questions. Thank you.